What's going on, everybody? I'm Nico, and in today's video I'm going to be breaking down exactly how I went from being fat, out of shape, to getting my absolute dream physique. People love to overcomplicate this topic on how to lose fat, when in reality it is very simple, so I'm breaking everything down for you guys.
This might seem like a lot, but let's just focus on the first thing, which is going to be diet. Diet is obviously the most important thing when it comes to out of these three things, out of diet, cardio, training. Diet's going to be the most important thing. It's going to be the thing that actually is making you lose fat. So first things first, before we get into foods or anything, you need to be in a caloric deficit. You might be asking, what is a caloric deficit? So if you are eating the same foods as you are right now and you are staying the same weight, you are at your caloric maintenance. So to be in a caloric deficit is to eat fewer calories than your body's actually burning on a day-to-day basis. Now to find this, you just want to look up calculator. Pop it up and plug in your stats. So I am 18, I am 5'9", and I am 175. And let's just put very intense active, because I do a shit ton of cardio a week. So yeah, that seems about right. 3,000 calories a day to maintain my weight. Mild weight loss, 2,800. Right now I'm actually trying to lose weight. So yes, I'm getting around 2,800 to 3,000 calories in a day, so it just puts me in a small deficit. So now that you found your caloric maintenance, just find your deficit, all right? And you want to be eating at least 1 gram per pound of body weight. This is because you need to be getting your protein in, so then you can actually maintain the muscle mass that you have on your frame when you were trying to lose weight. 1 gram per pound of body weight is very obtainable. It's very easy. If you're 200 pounds, 200 grams of protein, so simple. The only thing is if you are very heavy, you're very obese, you want to be getting, say for instance you were 300 pounds and your ideal weight is around 220, just eat 220 grams of protein in. You do not need to be getting 300 grams of protein in. Now fats are very important as a natural lifter. This is because fats are responsible for our hormones. So you want to be getting in healthy fats, not super heavily processed foods or boy slop like McDonald's or anything like that. Stick to the very healthy fats. And you just fill the rest in with carbs, and you just want to time them around your lift. That's where we get into the glycemic index when it comes to carbs. What I said for carbs is rice, potatoes, vegetables, candy, honey, fruit, but in reality, it doesn't really matter as long as you can handle it. What I mean by timing your carbs around your lift is you want to be having your carbs either before or after your workouts. Not necessarily throughout the day. You don't need them at night. Carbs are your body's energy, especially when your goal is to lose fat. You actually want to cut back on carbs. This is so then your body can actually use fat for energy instead of the carbs. Now, this is a good look on the glycemic index. So you're probably wondering, what is a glycemic index? It's just basically tells how fast it actually gets into your bloodstream. The higher it is, the quicker it is, the lower it is, the longer it takes. So obviously you want to have the foods on the higher side. You want to have them closer to your lift, so then you actually get a better pump in the gym and you have more energy. For proteins, it's very simple. Just have lean protein. So lean ground beef, you could have lean venison, lean game, anything like that. And then you could have chicken, which is very lean, or you could even have fish. And fats, like I said, you want to have the healthy fats. So think, salmon, eggs, avocado, beef tallow. All those are very healthy, and you're actually going to get all the micronutrients that your body actually needs. A good way I like to look at it is macros tell you how your body looks, and micronutrients actually tell your body how it should feel. You want to be making sure you're having proper supplementation. For cardio, this is very simple. Like I said, you want to be in a deficit. A cardio is the best tool. It is the best tool to stay in that deficit. Obviously, you're going to get to a certain point where you cannot cut your calories even more. Otherwise, you're just going to feel very fatigued and just feel like shit. So that's where cardio really comes in. Zone 2 cardio is cardio that is not crazy intense, or it's not too little. Zone 2 cardio is where your heart rate is either from 115 beats per minute to 140 beats per minute. It's almost like at a pace where you're like, all right, this is manageable, and you build up a slight sweat, but it's nothing where you feel like you're absolutely dying. This is the best zone for your heart rate to be in, to actually prioritize losing fat compared to just burning carbs. And what I mean with progressive overload with the cardio is, if you were at 15 minutes your first week, your next week you could do 17.5. This is to allow you to stay in the deficit, because as you get smaller, as you burn fat off your body, your caloric maintenance is slowly dropping. So you need to be either moving more or eating less to stay in that deficit. The best forms of cardio are pretty much personal preference, but the only thing I could say is, me personally, I like doing the Stairmaster. But what I have noticed is, especially once you get to a very lean state, Stairmaster puts your body in high stress, and when your body is stressed out, you actually retain more water. In more recent times, I've actually been switching to doing the treadmill or going on my walking pad in my room, just because this is making my body not in a crazy stress state where I'm having to retain water, and I actually feel better. And I'm also increasing my NEAT. NEAT stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This just means simple activities like tapping your finger, bouncing your leg, really just anything like that, going on small walk, very simple, just day-to-day habits. Obviously, the more you fidget and move around, the more calories you're actually burning. So essentially, if you just implement more physical activities in your day-to-day life and just get off your ass and move around during the day, go on small walks, you're going to feel a lot better. And it's also going to just help you get to your step goal, which is cardio at the end of the day. Another thing you could throw in after your meals is going on digestion walks. This is going to improve your digestion and just make you get into a faster state much quicker. After each meal, you could have a 10 to 20 minute digestion walk. Just walk around the block a few times, and this will actually help not only get to your step goals, but get you into a fasted state much quicker. This allows your insulin levels to actually be lowered and burn off those instant sugars that you ate from the carbohydrates, so it doesn't make those carbs turn into fat cells. Another tip I did not add here is that you could actually have more meals just more frequently throughout the day. Smaller meals, of course, that meet your daily caloric goal. Oh, I can't erase that. Fuck. Well, I fucked up. I'm not redoing it. So say instead of having 3 big meals that total 2,000 calories, split it up into 5 smaller meals just to keep your body in a more full, satiated state. This is going to allow you to feel more full and just satiated throughout the day, which is going to overall make you stay more locked in on your meal plan. Now, when it comes to training, it's very simple. You kind of just want to keep your training the exact same as if you were not dieting down, but just maintaining. You can keep your training kind of the same year round. You always want to stay progressing, or at least trying to progress. You guys want to be training hard with like proper intensity, actually pushing the muscle to failure or close to failure. So you want to be getting at least 8 to 12 sets per week, and those sets are to failure. Those are going to be your working sets. So you want to be training each muscle at least 2 times a week. So if you're doing PPL, that's perfectly fine. Or if you're doing upper lower, that's also fine. Or full body every other day, that's incredible. That's actually probably the best split, but that's kind of nuanced because there is really no best split. The best split is a split that you can stick to, and that also goes with dieting as well. There's not going to be no good diet. Like keto is not a good diet, carnivore, it's kind of really subjective and up to you. The diet that you can stick to, the training plan that you could stick to is going to be the best one for you. But there are some like rules of thumb that you can go off of just to help you stay more optimized. If you want to put that in Fortnite terms, it's like having optimal keybinds. What I mean by optimizing your exercise selection to avoid redundancy, that just essentially means not picking multiple exercises that do the same thing, like a lat pull down and pull-ups in the same session. It's just causing redundancy, which causes unnecessary fatigue. And when we're trying to cut down, we want to minimize the fatigue because your body's already in a fatigue state. This is because you are taking the calories that your body needs to be at maintenance to be burning fat. So your body's already in a stress state. You don't want to stress it out even more with unnecessary fatigue. This could lead to more injury. So for each muscle group, and it all depends on volume, and it all depends on your personal goals and your weaknesses in your physique. But say, for instance, you were lacking in your chest, and you really want to prioritize your chest, you could increase the volume on your chest, but you're probably going to have to take out a little bit of volume, say, on your arms or something like that, on your strong point. My strong points are my arms. You know, I have pretty good genetically gifted arms. I never train my arms. Funny enough, I never train my arms. If you guys watch any of my upper days, I never train my arms. I prioritize mainly everything that I would on my arms, on my delts, on my shoulders. They've always been a weak point. So on every upper session I do, I try to start out with a shoulder press or a lat raise, just so then I'm prioritizing my delts. At the start of the session, you're going to have the most energy to be able to output onto that muscle to get the most amount of motor unit recruitment. And those hard sets training with those last few reps are the ones that really matter with recruiting the most amount of motor units, which basically just means the harder you train and the more recovered you are, the better you will train and the more likely you will grow.
Your body doesn't necessarily need to be jacked, and especially when you're in a caloric deficit, your body's not necessarily focusing on putting on muscles, they're focused on just staying alive because you're really cutting back calories, and in reality, you're almost like starving yourself. So you really need to actually keep that intensity there. A good telltale sign that you kept all your muscle mass, say for instance, you bench 225 for 10 reps at the start of your cut, and then towards the end of your cut, you could still bench 225 for 10 reps. That probably means that you kept most amount of the muscle that you had in your chest, tries, and your shoulders. So that's why it's very important that you were still training hard like you were progressing, but even though you probably won't be. To summarize it, essentially, you just want to be dieting, you want to be consistent. Consistency is really going to get you to the furthest. You just want to be in a caloric deficit. You want to have your higher glycemic carbs around your lift, timed around your lift, so before and after, to replenish your glycogen storages, of course. And you need your protein, you need to be getting at least 1 gram per pound of body weight that you have. Fats, it's 0.3 to 0.5 grams per pound of body weight that you have. Now, cardio is just a tool that helps you stay in a deficit. You don't necessarily need to be doing cardio in the gym, but it's very important that you're getting your steps and then you're moving around, they're having healthy habits, going on hikes, say for instance, just walking around the block, going on digestion walks, things of that nature. And training, just keep your training almost the exact same as if you were not in a deficit, as if you are almost trying to actually progress. These 3 things properly, stay consistent, stay locked in. I promise you will see results. If you guys have any questions, leave them down below. I respond to everybody. Join my Discord community, and I'll leave a link down in the description to actually hop on a call with me for one-on-one coaching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Let me know what other videos you guys want me to post, and adios.